Well, this is a first on the channel. I'm going to be talking about a concert film called Right Here, Right Now from the band Ghost. So what did I think about this experience and this being my first time ever watching a concert film in a theater? Well, stick around. Well, let's talk about it. Right Here, Right Now is directed by Tobias Forge. He is the lead singer of Ghost, and this is his directorial debut. And Alex Ross Perry, who has done some other films in the past, but I've never seen any of his previous works, though I have seen that he has worked with notable actors and actresses. Now, this film, I will just say right off the bat, it's a concert, but it's also a film kind of in between sets that really goes from the shorts that they've made on their YouTube. Now, I have watched that short series, and I'm going to be honest, it really wasn't for me. I wasn't really into it that much. I think the acting leaves a lot to be desired. I love the atmosphere of those shorts, but it really didn't do a whole lot for me. So I was really just looking forward to the concert part itself. I am a casual fan. My wife is a super fan of this band and can tell you probably anything about this band. I had never seen this band live, so this was a treat for me to actually check out what they're all about live, the charisma of Tobias Forge, which he does have a lot of charisma. And positives I can say about this film is the way that the actual band dresses. They have these masks for like the guitarist and the drummer, which is really hard to actually perform in a mask, but it's really cool to actually see that. Tobias wears a mask as well, and I've always thought when he wears this mask, it seems like it's like super tight on his face. So if it's comfortable for him, whatever, but it just seems like it's really tight on his face. And when he's actually mouthing words to like lyrics of the songs, it seems like his mouth is barely moving almost. He has a lot of costume changes, and I did like seeing that because a lot of the costumes are very creative. The whole set of the band, they have these window panes in the background representing like church, which they're not a religious band if you don't know anything about them. They are a metal band, but they're not a metal band in the sense of just like screamy kind of vocals. They're not really like that. There is this stigma that metal, it's all like rah, rah, rah screaming, and they're not that kind of band, though they are very theatrical, and you really see that throughout this concert. Now, things that I really did like that stood out between the songs is there's a song called 20s, and they have these dancers with their choreography with skeleton onesies that they're wearing, and that was really cool to see. It really made the film, really pop. The concert just, it really took off when that song actually hit. There was another slower part where they have some cellos that they're playing, and I was like, this is really cool. And that's one thing that I can say about this film is it's very atmospheric. And metal, if you get a band that is very much into their craft, especially a lot of the foreign bands, they're very crafty and savvy in how they actually perform and how they actually react with their crowd. And I think Tobias, he has a lot of comedic elements to him. He's very charismatic in the way that he interacts with the crowd. And I like to see in between that we get a little bit of the lore of the band, and obviously it goes into the shorts that they made, which was really cool. Though I will say that if you're a casual fan and you haven't watched those, you may be a little bit confused in those elements and some of the characters. The acting isn't terrible. I will say that it's a step up in the acting over the shorts, which I think they were recorded maybe a couple years ago. So I think they did a lot better job in the acting department. I did enjoy also that they did mix up the different songs throughout their set list. They do perform their latest album in the entirety of that, but they also do play a lot of the older songs and some older favorites. So it was great that they actually mixed that in. Now, things that I wasn't a fan of. Now, first off, the editing of this movie. For the most part, I didn't mind it that much, but there is some things within the editing, especially within the performances, that I really wasn't a fan of, and it took a little bit to get used to. Now, when you're watching the band perform, there is a lot of jarring cuts. So they don't really focus on any one member, so you'll have Tobias, and they'll hurry up, cut to the guitarist, hurry up, cut to the drummer. And I didn't really like that. I wanted the film to breathe a little bit more, show us the drummer actually just sitting there and drumming, maybe for like 15 seconds or something, and then maybe show us the guitarist and what he's doing. I think that editing could have made the film not feel so quick with the cuts, because there is a lot of cutting and going to the next member of the band. It took a lot to get used to, but once you get used to it, you're just used to the cutting going back and forth throughout the concert. Speaking of the members themselves, I wish they got a little bit more time to shine, and what I mean is in between each song, maybe we could have like a guitar solo or a drum solo. I do realize that these members, they don't write the music. Tobias writes all the music, and then he has fill-ins just perform this music live. So obviously they're not a part of the writing process, but if we got a little bit of like maybe a guitar solo, like a really cool drum solo, that's what I was really thinking would be really cool to really add a little bit more to the musicians themselves. There is a few little nitpicky things that really isn't on the film, but more so the theater that I went to itself. I usually go to AMC and the sound is really great and you can hear everything really well. And I think you could hear stuff here, but I could definitely tell the speaker difference and just the way that it came through the speakers and the fact that it was on a smaller screen and we were in a small theater. I definitely didn't agree with that, with the fact that this was a concert. It was about 50 people, so I think that there was enough people where it could actually generate having a little bit bigger screen. And the fact that the theater that I went to isn't really a busy theater to begin with, because every time I go there, it's just really dead all the time. It's amazing that they're even open, to be honest with you. They're the last Regal that I have in town. But I just thought that this could have actually benefited from a bigger screen, better sound, like maybe, you know, they have like their own form of IMAX at that theater. That definitely would have been a lot better, but, you know, they probably have to have like a certain like actual contract in which they have to actually put it on that screen. So in that aspect, I wish we got a little bit more, you know, in that aspect with the sound ratio there. And then the whole fans themselves, I thought they would be a little bit more rowdy, a little bit more louder with their singing and such. But they were kind of quiet in instances. You know, they didn't really sing a whole lot. Didn't hear a lot of people really singing a whole lot. It seemed like they were just kind of sitting there, which I think I expect a little bit more. And I think that's because like I heard a lot of things with like Taylor Swift and like crowds being really loud and rowdy and just screaming out her lyrics. I thought it would be something more like that, but it was a little bit more casual in that instance. So it was kind of relaxing just to sit there and just sit back and watch this concert. But overall, for a score for this, I wasn't going to give it a score because it's not the traditional movie. I would give it a 4 out of 5. I think it is a pretty solid concert series. You really get to go behind the band if you've never really watched the set before and just see how they really perform and their charisma and their interaction with the fans. I think Tobias, you know, he is a great musician and he has a lot to really offer to this band. A lot of different melodies and some heavier stuff, and they have a lot of good things that they do within their music, and they're very theatrical, which I can definitely appreciate. And it's definitely a band that I would check out if they came here close to my area. What did you guys think about Right Here Right Now? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you just think it was kind of meh? It is going to be playing for a couple more days for this weekend only. I'm assuming at some point they'll put this on Blu-ray in their store, I'm assuming. I'm not sure. I'm sure at some point there'll be some way to actually own this, hopefully on physical media, you know, if you're a really big super fan and you want to definitely own the concert. It was performed in Los Angeles in 2023, so it's not that old as far as the concert footage, and it was just pretty remarkable that they got this edited out and just right on the market right away. Comment below, what do you guys think about this band? Have you heard of them before? Is this your first time hearing about them? And if you haven't checked them out and you're a metal fan, definitely check them out. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.